Okay, folks. Trying to get everything all ready. There we go. It's hard to look and figure out what I'm doing reversed in a mirror. It just drives me nuts. Anyway, I'm running a little late, having internet problems today. Everything's working slow. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. Now, today, it's Thursday. It's our errand day. Well, not all of us can run errands on Thursday, and that's okay. You have a day set aside to run some errands, but if you can get one thing done today, that's one less thing that you have to do on Saturday. So getting stuff done is what our goal is, just to get some things done. I've been playing a game all day today. I made me a list of 12 things. I have my little bowl of little tiles that I pull from, and I'm doing odd things that I don't usually do, like gathering up CDs and DVDs that I haven't played in a while, and getting them organized and putting them underneath the entertainment center. So I've been doing lots of strange little things. Every 15 minutes I do one thing. I've been taking things down to the basement that hadn't been taken down to the basement in a while. So that's kind of where my head is today, is getting some things done that need to be done. Now, next week, we're in the living room. So I'm getting a little head start on the living room because I can. Because the rest of my house is in good shape. So I'm getting a head start on my living room. Just playing a little game with myself. And when I play a little game with myself, it makes it nice. Because it's fun. I don't have to, be all caught up in, I have to do this. Well, have to do this doesn't work for me. I want to play a game. I want to just have some fun. And I've been getting some moving in because I've been going up and down the basement steps. So I have a rule. If I go down to the basement, I have to take something with me. If I come up from the basement, I have to bring something with me. So it's either a load of clothes or something that needs to be decluttered. And stuff's getting done. And it feels so good to get stuff done. I got my water with me. I need a drink right now. Anyway, fun and games. If we make it fun, it'll get done. So what kind of games have you been playing? In a recent talk you mentioned, let's answer some questions. You mentioned that feather dusters don't like to be kept in the dark. Oh, why? Mine is in the hall closet because my dear cat went bananas as soon as it came out of the box, and it makes me dust fast. Oh, that's cute. Well, here's the thing about feather dusters. You're dusting, you're picking up dust. You take it outside and shake it, but you don't get all the dust out. Guess what eats dust? Dust mites eat dust. And let me get the feather duster right here. Uh-oh. Here's our feather duster. Now, when you keep it in the dark, see these beautiful feathers? These beautiful feathers the base of them get eaten by the dust mites. But when you keep it in the sun, it's all about in the sunlight. When you keep it in the sun, this feather duster will last a lifetime practically. But if you keep it in the dark, it's going to start molting. It's going to start just disappearing. Feathers are going to fall out of it because you've kept it in the dark. It wants to be in the sunshine so that the dust mites don't eat it. The dust mites run from the sun. They're in the dark. So get it out into the sunlight and you can enjoy it for a long, long time. How much water do I drink? Okay. I start with 2 cups of water before I leave the bathroom in the morning. And that's 2 prayers that I say for somebody. Sometimes it's the president, sometimes it's our other leaders. But when I drink a cup of water, I say a prayer, and I move one of my little I have some holy medals that I move over to that remind me to say these prayers. I start with 2, and that gets me going to the bathroom. Now, I know this sounds weird, but having to go to the bathroom reminds me to drink water. Robert taught me this. So you got to stay hydrated, and you can't drink huge glasses of water at one time. You have to keep it going in your body. So every time I go to the bathroom, I have a cup in there. It's a copper cup. It's a pretty copper cup. I like it. And I drink, it's about 10 ounces, and I drink a full cup. Even if I only get 8 ounces, it's something. And as I go through my day, I will end up with 4 or 5 of those. I always have a cup of water by my chair, and I probably drink one of these, which is, I think, about 25 ounces, but I haven't measured it. So I try to get one of these and 4 or 5 cups in. So 50, maybe 70 or 80 ounces a day is what I drink. What do you do when all the zones for the week are done and are done with the next? And what do you do when all the zone for the week is done and are done for the next week's zone? Well, you can take a break. You don't have to work all the time. You get your mission done, and if you see something that needs done, you can do it, but don't make more work for yourself. It's okay to take a break and get things done. I try to get things done enough, like with my fly lady work. I try to stay 3 or 4 days ahead so that if I want to take a full day's break, I can and not feel so pressured every day. See, it's that stress of the pressure of thinking you have to do. Take a break. It's okay to take a break. And then jump back in next week. Why is decision making difficult when organizing and purging, and how do you overcome it? Well, the reason it is difficult, Andrea, is because we've been told our whole lives that we have to hold on to things. You might need it one day. How many times have you said that to yourself today? I might need this one day. I better keep this. Don't do that to yourself. You don't need everything. You really don't. Think about going on vacation with just a suitcase. We don't need everything. Now, this is the pot calling the kettle black. I know this because I am the bag lady when it comes to packing for a vacation. But we can get rid of things. We don't have to hold on to everything. We really don't. No, I'm not Catholic. But I like to go to shrines. And when I go to shrines, I collect things. I like to collect candles, and I like to collect little holy medals. And I like to give them away, and I like to give away rosaries. But I don't do a rosary every day. But I had a dear friend bring me a rosary back from the Vatican. I had my nephew bring me back a little charm from the Vatican. So I have an Alpha and Omega charm on my little bracelet. And this is a prayer bracelet where I can say a prayer I go through and say prayers. That's what I use my rosary for, the knots to pray for people. Are you ever going to tell the awesome... Are you ever going to sell the awesome dust brush and pan? I love mine, and I need a couple more. One for the floor and one for the countertops of our camper. Please, it's my favorite. People wouldn't buy them because you can get a dustpan at the grocery store for little or nothing. And you can find dustpans everywhere. It's not a special tool. It really isn't. So I don't think we'll be selling them again unless you really talk Jack into it. Motto, be prepared. That's good. Yep, I'm kind of prepared. I have a bag that I take with me when I travel that's just for getting sick, any kind of sick. Because I've gotten sick on the road and it's not fun. I've gotten food poisoning on the road and you get dehydrated and it's rough. It's really rough. Yes, I was a Girl Scout. I went to Girl Scout camp and had a really fun time at Girl Scout camp. I think it helped prepare me for a lot of things. The last day of school is here. Wondering if you think it's okay to let the older kids do fewer chores and have more free time in the summer. I'm an enabler, but I feel guilty. Love from Boulder. Well, I think you need to keep routines consistent. The older kids, just because it's summertime, they still need to make their beds and help you around the house and do different things. I don't think letting up on them is a big thing, but I think having a goal or something you want to do this summer and help plan for that. Let's declutter this summer. Let's drag out the Camp Gonna Wanna Fly control journal and think about doing some fun things with the kids as rewards. Just that simple. Rewards. And doing the same thing. You don't get to quit swishing the toilet just because it's summertime. And a lot of teachers, when they get out of school, they don't want to clean. They don't want to clean when school's in, but when they get out of school, that's the last thing they want to think about. But they have all these high goals of getting the house organized. It doesn't work that way. We have to establish simple habits, string them into routines, and then get your routines done as fast as you can so you can go out and play. And let's do that. What's Ruth Ann got here? Marla, what do you think that doing a load a day helps to extend the life of your wash? Do you think that doing a load a day helps to extend the life of your washer and dryer? I don't know what that has to do with anything. It's a tool. Use the tool. I don't think it extends the life. I don't think it takes away from the life. A load a day keeps Mount Washmore away. It's all about your sanity, not the washer and dryer, because you bought them to be a tool for you, and use them. Don't let them just sit there. Can you give some advice on preparing a family for an upcoming severe summer weather? Currently, I don't have anything prepared. Well, okay, let's think about what the severe summer weather can be. It's according to where you live. If you live in the center of the country, that's called Tornado Alley, you need to know where to go if a tornado is coming. I've had friends who could see it in the distance headed right for them. I have texted her and said, there's a tornado coming right at you. And she says, we know, we're in the storm cellar. And they had a bunker to go to in the basement. They were ready. If you don't have a basement, then you need to know to get in a windowless room and cover your heads. Kids put on bike helmets and grab a mattress and put over you and stay in that room until it's over. If you live in the South and you're close to a coast or even inland, some of our worst weather has come from hurricanes that have come inland. In fact, right here where we live, 2 tropical storms merged on top of us, and we had 24 inches of rain or something in a 24-hour period. It's unheard of. It made the record books. And it was a long time ago. But it took out all the logging flumes, everything around this area. Took out a whole lake that was dammed up. It was a bad storm. So you got to be prepared for flooding. We had flooding this weekend from a storm. and we had landslides. There's not a whole lot you can do to prepare for a mudslide coming down a mountain, except not build your house in the path of where one could happen. And you can see geologically where things like that could be in the past. And people just want to sell property. With hurricanes, you got to be ready to evacuate. So you might not come back to your home in the same shape that you left it in. So you've got to be able to take with you and know what you're going to take with you. Like my grandson is 15. In the beginning, when he was first born, they didn't have a lot of digital pictures. They have physical pictures. So if it were Justin and Emily, they would grab the photo albums of Ethan as a baby. But with Sarah, they had digital pictures. So they're sitting on a cloud somewhere. You don't have to worry about those things. Your old family portraits and photographs, you may want to grab those because they're not digital. Over the next few months, you may want to take pictures of those pictures or scan them in some way. Or you can send them off and have them all scanned for you. There's lots of ways to save your photographs and your albums. But if you don't, you got to grab them and go. What's important? I've got a whole essay on it. It's the 11 points of preparedness for evacuation. And they all start with P. And you got to make sure your car is full of gas. Well, tomorrow's Friday. Every Friday we make sure we fill up so that our cars are ready to go. There's a tropical system brewing down in Mexico right now. They're predicting that it's going to come up into the States. You got to be ready for that. We get plenty of notice, and so you just have to think about it. So these 11 points of preparedness is on our website. It's in our control journals if you buy a control journal for us. It's all about helping you to figure out what to take. And if you're not going to evacuate, then you have to have a way to cook meals. If your power goes out, you need backup power. You have to have these things in place beforehand. It just doesn't happen. In the wintertime, everybody's going to run to the grocery store to get milk and bread if it's going to snow. Well, in the summertime, when it's going to storm, people go get gallons of water. Well, I have gallons of water in the basement. I have gallons of water. I have a way to purify water in the need that I need to get water out of the creek. I'm prepared. My son's leaving. He's waving by. Anyway, it's being prepared is just setting up some simple things to help you get through a rough situation. Last year, we had Hurricane Harvey that hit Houston, and there was rain and devastation everywhere. I don't wish that on anybody. But the people who were prepared, they knew what to do after the flooding stopped. They knew to tear out their sheetrock and get the house back to empty. They propped things up on tables and stuff. They got some stuff. They took everything to a second floor. They did some prepared. They were prepared. Now, nobody ever expected to have 59 inches of rain in one area. Nobody, even the weatherman, didn't know that. So, get the 11 points of preparedness, put it in your control journal, and start putting some things together. We have an alternate way to cook. We have a generator in the event that we need power. And see, we have well water, so our generator runs our pump to get water up to the house. It doesn't run heat or air conditioning, but it does run the water, and that's the most important thing for us. I can cook over on a grill. I can cook on a fire pit outside. There's lots of ways to cook, and I can eat things out of a can. I don't have to cook. Our generator runs our freezer too, so we won't lose our food that we have in storage. But you need emergency food for those things. So, and you need extra medications for a long duration. Take 1 or 2 pills of your blood pressure medicine and put them in an old bottle and collect a week's worth. And then you have them in your emergency kit or in your purse, wherever you need them. So you grab these things and you go. You put them in a tub. If you have to leave, what are you going to evacuate with? If you have to evacuate for hurricane or flash flood or forest fire, we have a danger of forest fire. Before it rained 5 inches this last week, well, no, we got 10 inches last week. Before it rained those 10 inches, we were really dry. So being prepared for storms, whether it's a firestorm or a windstorm or a mud, flash flood, being prepared and knowing that you're prepared is going to keep you calm. And when you're calm, the rest of the family's calm. So if you get the tornado warning on your phone, and subscribe to these warnings so that you get it on your phone and your phone goes off if there's an emergency. This is what happened the other night in the county just due east of us. There's a flash flood warning. They shut down an interstate, which is unheard of. There was 4 feet of water on the interstate. You can't drive through 4 feet of water. I don't care how big a truck you're in. You can't go through 4 feet of water. If you go through 6 inches of water, your vehicle can lift up because you're driving on air. So be prepared and know where high ground is. I mean, we can get Google Earth and we know what our elevation is right where we're sitting. I do. I'm 2,604 feet. We have to have a flood of biblical proportions to get to me. Now, I might be landlocked. Water may be all around me, but I'm going to be okay. And I'm good to go or stay either way. Okay, let me ask another question. Answer another question, that is. How do you fit yard work in weekly? Well, here's the deal. Yard work, there's lots of things that have to be done. And there's an essay on our website about that specific thing. There is an essay there. Do a search for gardening. I have a flower garden. I don't mow, but I used to mow. I know how to mow. And you have weed eating. You have flower beds that need to be weeded. You have, if you like flowers, you need to deadhead flowers. So every day, if you just spend 5 minutes while you're talking on the phone to your best friend, taking the clippers out and with headset in, clipping off the buds, the deadheads. Go out and pull up a few weeds. Take a weed eater, or, as my grandmother, my grandmother didn't have a weed eater. She had a hoe, and she would go out and just spend 5 minutes hoeing her garden, taking out the bad weeds that were taken over. So it doesn't have to be a big, huge all day ordeal that you wear yourself out. You can pace yourself. You can go spend, if it takes 5 hours to mow your grass, then do an hour a day. You just break it down into baby steps. You may be mowing a little every day, but like somebody said, does it increase the lifetime of your mower if you do that? Or your washing machine or dryer because you use it every day? We can break it down into baby steps. Things that need to be done daily, things that need to be done weekly, things that need to be done every other day. We just break it down and do a little bit. How many books should I keep for my kids? I have 4 kids and it feels like I'm getting too many. Well, I would say each child needs their own Rubbermaid bin. I don't know how many gallons it is, but it stands about 2 feet tall by 18 inches by 2 feet, or a nice size bin. And you probably got some with crap in them that you're not going to keep. It's clutter. It needs to go away. We'll give each kid a bin, and with that bin, keep their favorite books. Let them keep 5 or 6 books that meant something to them. It's just, and then as they outgrow these books, you may want to keep some for grandchildren in the future that were their parents, that you have your own little keepsake bin. And then bless other children with these books. I love what Dolly Parton does. She has this reading program that every month she sends a book to a child. Lots of children. I don't know how many children she has sent books to, but it's a wonderful program. I don't know if you can get signed up to it or not, but bless other people with those books. Reading to children is one of the things that you can do to instill this love of adventure in them. I probably read 2 or 3 books a week. Now, I don't sit down and read them. I'm too antsy for that. But I listen to them. I have an Audible account, and I buy a dozen books at a time. I just buy a dozen credits at a time, and they're like $10 a book. And if a book is interesting to me, I will download it. And they're always promoting some book somewhere, sometime, always on TV. And I find books that I like to read. And then sometimes I go look at the top 10. And I have fun. Listen to books while I'm working. It's sort of background noise for me, but it keeps me focused like you wouldn't believe. And then if I'm doing a big cooking project, I'll put it on loud so that I'm not having to mess with my phone. I just put my phone up on a stand and I listen to the book while I'm in the kitchen. And I can remember exactly what I was doing when I heard this little thing. Sometimes I read them twice. I listen to them all the way through, and then I listen to them again. The gift of reading is a wonderful thing for any parent to give their child or their grandchild. You listen to my videos while I'm cleaning. Well, that's sweet. Well, we have some fun. I mean, I can't believe how much fun it's been to do the 31 baby steps this month. It's just been phenomenal for me, and I hope you've gotten as much out of it as I have. The one thing I've realized is that we've practically gone through this whole book. In 24 days, we're practically through it. Think about reading a chapter a day in a book. Think about reading to your child a chapter a day. That would be wonderful. When I was in 3rd grade, our teacher, Miss Barton, she read us the Laura Ingalls Wilder's books. Little House in the Big Woods, Little House on the Prairie. She read all of those to us while we were, supposed to have our head down, napping. It was a beautiful thing. And I went by Laura Ingalls Wilder's home one time on a trip. And the way the family, I always sort of thought that maybe I was born a century too late, that I should have been born during the middle 1800s, because I like that pioneer attitude that they could do anything. I've just got on why talking books today. Well, somebody asked a question, what to do with their child's books. And I'm trying to help them figure that out. But reading is a wonderful thing. I've written 3 books. Well, I've written 4, but published 3, and the other one's on its way. It is, if you can read, you can write. Reading helps you to be able to write. Might not help me be able to spell, but spell check is good for that. Okay, and we need other questions, y'all. So give us some more questions. I'm in a... Thanks, Tracy. I like doing the daily chats too. I think I'm stealing this from Scott Adams, who does a daily podcast on Periscope. He's got a weird way of thinking about things. But today, when the president called off the talks with North Korea, it didn't upset me. It might have upset me 2 months ago that it did, but it didn't upset me today because I know this is part of the negotiations. Being able to walk away is a good thing. And when things aren't going the way you think it's supposed to be going, you don't keep beating a dead horse. You just got to walk away from it. And we have to do that ourselves. When we get upset over something, we need to we need to be able to step away from it and get new eyes on it when something upsets us. Robin wants to know what's my new book. It's called The Chaos Cure. And I don't have a copy of it yet. I've written it. I've seen it in digital form. It's in the editing process. And it's all fun. A Fly Lady Coffee Chat. Well, that's kind of what Scott does. Do you have a favorite way to organize your pantry? I let Robert do it. Well, he does it without me asking him to do it. He catches me gone and he's bored, so he reorganizes the pantry. I like to keep my fruits up at the top, and then I work my way down. The middle shelf is things we use all the time, and then there's soups, the stuff that we kind of grab when we need it, and then there's 2 more shelves in my pantry. My pantry's not very big. If you don't have a pantry, clean out your linen closet, put the extra sheets and stuff in the bedroom where they're used, and turn your linen closet into a pantry. Leanne Ely taught me that. How many items of clothing should a person have in their closet? I need to clean out several closets full of my clothes. Well, you only need to keep the clothes you wear. That gets rid of your fat clothes. We wrote a whole book about this, body clutter. Get rid of your fat clothes, get rid of your skinny clothes, and only have the clothes you wear. Could I do a 31 baby steps to taking care of yourself? Well, that's what we do every day. That's really what we do. Every week we have a pamper mission, but read my 11 commandments. They're all about taking care of you. Do you have any stay-at-home mom afternoon routine items and suggestions? My boys are 3 and 1, and they both nap between 1:30 and 3:30 most days. Well, if you have little kids like that, you need to talk to Liz, because Liz has a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old, and they take naps still. Well, Mikey's in school, but she can help you with. But when they nap, you should nap too. You should take a little nap too, because you're probably getting up in the middle of the night. Our little dog has gotten her days and nights mixed up, and she's barking all night at the flying squirrels and the raccoons, and then I wear earplugs so it doesn't bother me, but Robert doesn't. So he's up and down with the dog all night long. Yes, napping is good. Okay, any more questions? We might go a little further than 3 o'clock. I am new again, been listening to daily videos. What book should I begin with? If someone told me before, I forget. Well, you should go shine your sink and get dressed to lace up shoes. And you can do the 31 baby steps. That's a great way to ease your way into our system. Sink Reflections is your primer, pretty much. It tells you everything you need to know about flying. But this one will get you started. So, right now, and then Body Clutter is kind of about getting rid of what's going on in your head. But we deal with that in other ways too. So I'd say Chaos to Clean. We're going to have a new month in a week. Just start the beginning of the month if you want to, if that makes you feel better, because you can look at your watch and know what day it is, and then do that day. My husband brought me one of the Robo Sweepers. I run it while I'm working on a zone. I don't know what a Robo Sweeper is. Those, like the shark thing that goes around and scares kitties and stuff. I've given those things away for gifts, and my daughter-in-law swears by it. She loves it, absolutely loves it. It'd worry the daylights out of me because I got a Fly Lady mop. That's all I need. Takes me 2 minutes. That thing running around the house. We got so much dog hair. Oh my goodness, I just can't even think about it. My wood floors never really are completely clean. My wood floors never really are completely clean. Anything I can do to get them really clean. Anything's better than not cleaning them. Let go of your perfectionism. That is what is killing you, y'all. Let go of the perfectionism. Anything is better than nothing. So take your mop, wet it down, run around your kitchen doing the floors. If you get up the cat hair and the dog hair, that's half the battle. I've got machines that do the floor. They're so bulky and a pain in the butt to get out. I never clean the floor with that stuff. People use steam mops. Well, they're not really great for wood floors. This past week, we were in the kids' rooms as our extra room. Children need to have responsibilities in their room, in their rooms. We send out a daily mission for kids' rooms, for them to do, not for you to do. And we don't give any missions on the weekend for you or them. We want you to do your routines real fast and get on with having fun on Saturday. Don't be spending all day on Saturday doing laundry. What about kids' rooms? Well, that won't go away. I've already answered that one. Let's do your microfiber cloths have silver in them? No, they don't. So they can go in the microwave. They don't have silver in them. The silver rag, this is the silver rag, is the color silver, because we were doing the Olympics and I wanted a silver and a bronze and a purple rag. And that's how we came up with the different colors, because I like to color code things. Let's see, if you could only afford one cleaning tool from the fly shop, what would you recommend? I would recommend a purple rag. Yep. Let me tell you about the purple rag. My sister-in-law, I gave her a pack of purple rags. She was having trouble getting the soap film off of her shower doors. And I said, you just need some purple rags. So I gave her a pack of them. And she uses one of them. She has a Swiffer. Now, I don't recommend Swiffers. I've used them. buying the refills is a pain, but what she does is she attaches a purple rag to her Swiffer, and she does her floors. So you could do your floors with the microfiber cloth. You can do windows with a microfiber cloth. You can do your elbows and your knees and your bathtubs. This would be the one tool I would recommend. Now, if you had a little bit more to spend, I keep dragging things out because I think I'll get a text from Michael any minute because we've got a special going on, getting ready to happen, and he hasn't gotten it ready yet. So as soon as it gets on, I'll tell you about it. But we have this carpet sweeper that is mechanical. It's not plug-in. It's mechanical, and it gets stuff up like you wouldn't believe. If you have a toddler in your house, and that toddler makes a mess eating, you know what I'm talking about. Food everywhere. You see it in restaurants all the time. And this is how I came up with the idea. I see this thing in restaurants, except they're little, for the carpet sweeper. And it's a cool tool. So if you can afford to get that, it'll help you with rugs. I don't have any carpet in my house. I don't have any carpet at all. But don't buy the carpet sweeper right this minute. Hold off about an hour. Do you hear me? Just hold off about an hour, because we're going to do a special Memorial Day sale for them. Does the carpet sweeper do hardwood floors? No, it doesn't. It says carpet sweeper. It's carpet sweeper, not floors. Now, if you've got stuff on your floors, take a broom and sweep it onto the carpets and you can pick it up. But it doesn't work good on hardwood floors. That's what the mop and the rubber sweeper's for. There's the mop. This mop is an amazing tool. Where'd it go? I dropped it. This is the mop. These chenille mop cloths, they get stuff off your floor like you wouldn't believe. I have hardwood floor one. I've never seen a hardwood floor one, but anyway, we got the carpet sweeper because we didn't have a tool that got things off the carpet well. But don't buy it just yet. I'm expecting a text from Michael any minute that says we've got the sale price up. And I don't know what that sale price is going to be, or I would tell you. But with the 20% discount we got going right now. Okay. Pam wants to know, how do I get motivated? I feel frozen. First off, have you had anything to eat today? Second, have you had some water? How much sleep did you get last night? This is all about taking care of you. If you feel frozen, it's because you don't know where to start, or you don't feel good, or you're procrastinating again. So go shine your kitchen sink. Make sure you're dressed to lace up shoes before you get in there. And let go of this frozen feeling. Feel empowered. Set your timer. When the timer goes off, jump up and do 2 minutes worth. That's all you got to do. 2 minutes worth. Just 2 minutes. Oh, let's see. I try to get everything up on YouTube as soon as I possibly can after I get through doing the videos, because a lot of people aren't on Facebook. And we get a lot of people watching us live, a couple thousand, maybe 5,000. We've had as many as 20,000 watch at one time. I think our record was 25,000 when it was really cold. My son's sending me testimonials. But if you feel frozen, set a timer for 2 minutes and get up and do 2 minutes worth. What is it? The physics. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. A body that's sedentary stays sedentary. So we have to get ourselves up. Sometimes, like Mel, I can't remember her name, she does a blast off thing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're up. It's just that little push to get you up. It's playing a game with yourself. The timer, yes, Missy, the timer really does work. I'm so glad you're telling everybody about it. It really does work. And it's not just a timer on your watch or on your phone. It's a timer that you have to physically go to and turn off. I mean, I've got my timer going all day long. My son came in the door a while ago, and about the time he walked in the door, the timer started going off because I was doing something, and it was to remind me to sit down and rest for a little while and do something else in my emails. It's all about taking care of you. That timer does that. I just count down from 5. For some reason, that makes me start. That's great. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you will send me an email with the word thyroid in the subject line, I'll send you a whole book that a friend of mine wrote. For free. Whole book. If you put thyroid in the subject line. 2 minutes is real easy with little ones. And then you can sit down and play with them for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. That's all you got to do. 2 minutes to peace. I never thought about people listening to me in the car. But I like to listen to things in the car. I like to listen to books, motivational tapes. I mean, my life changed in the 80s when I bought a set of tapes from my friend Rita Davenport. Send it to flylady@flylady.net with thyroid in the subject line. Wow. But I listened to these tapes. I can't remember the name of the series. It's out of print now. But it was on cassette tapes. And Rita Davenport, she used to be the head of Arbonne. She was my mentor. And her whole message, and I re-listen to these tapes occasionally because I have had them put into a digital format. And it really helped me to, when I re-listened to them, know where some of my brainwashing came from. Let's see what Angela says. I'm constantly dealing with my impatience. I end up burning out. Impatience is really another word for perfectionism. See the perfectionism. Peel that onion. Keep peeling down and you get to the heart of it, and it's your perfectionism every time. That perfectionism eats away at you. It makes you sad because you can't do it right. It makes you anxious because you can't do it right. It makes you procrastinate because you can't do it right. Let go of the perfectionism and you're going to feel better about everything. Anne wants to know, what's the best way to clean baseboards? The baseboards, I have all your tools. Do you have, if you have the mop, this mop will clean baseboards. If you have little kids, the chenille mop cloth or the dust mitt will clean baseboards. If you have the multi-wand, which we're out of on our website, but they'll be in next week, the multi-wand cleans baseboards. Cleaning baseboards is all about when you're in that zone, sometimes you can sit down on your butt and use a purple rag and clean baseboards. Now, that's not a comfortable way to do it, but it can be done. And little kids are closer to the floor. A rubber scrubber will clean baseboards. A rubber sweeper will clean baseboards. We have, just any of our tools will clean baseboards if you'll get up and do it. You don't have to have the perfect tool. You just have to have the notion to do it. I'm a single person household. I'm trying to pare down pots and pans. What do you suggest for basics for cooking for one person? Well, you need a 2-quart pot to boil pasta. You need a skillet to cook an egg. I use iron skillets. And I have an omelet pan, which is curved, which can be a saute pan too. I have an 8-inch iron skillet. I have a 10-inch iron skillet. I have a big pasta pot that is also my soup pot. And I have a crock pot. And I have a little one quart, well, it's not even 1 quart, it's probably 2 cup saucepan that I can melt butter in and make oatmeal in. So that's the extent of my cookware. Now I have a bunch more cookware, but those are the ones I use all the time. And my 2-quart pan, I have a Visions pan that I like, and then I have a Visions, I can think of the French word for it, bain marie, double boiler that I use a lot, but I use them separately. And it's a 1-quart pan and then a 1-quart top that fits in it. So I have my glass and I have my cast iron, and I love my cast iron. I like to collect cast iron. What do you order? How do you order the purple rag? You just go on our website and find the purple rags, and they're there in the fly shop. Liz is just giving you a link. My OCD gives me all or nothing thing. Yes, it does. Obsessive compulsive disorder. It's called perfectionism. Yes, we can make ourselves nuts. Should I even get rid of the clothes that I can almost fit into? I don't know. When you gain weight and you lose weight, sometimes you lose interest in those clothes. Should I even get rid of the clothes? Let me read the rest of the question. That I can almost fit into when I'm cleaning out my closet. I went away. I didn't get to see the end of it. Get the clothes that you can't wear out of there. Almost isn't quite there yet. And you're looking at it and you're feeling bad about yourself. Here, let me try again, Laura. Out of my closet. My OCD gives me the all or nothing thing. I would get rid of the clothes you can't wear. Skinny clothes, fat clothes, clothes you're not there yet, the clothes that make you uncomfortable, I would get them out of the closet. Plain and simple. Because you deserve to have a closet with clothes in it that make you feel... You don't wear many of them when it boils right down to it. What brand of cast iron do you use? I use hand-me-downs. I have a Wagner. I have a Lodge. Yeah. You know, I have what's been passed down to me, and occasionally I'll pick up something on eBay. But cast iron is cast iron. You just got to treat it right, and you don't wash it in the dishwasher, and you make sure it's seasoned well. Which all you got to do is look online and tell you how to season a cast iron pan. It's a reward to get rid of your fat clothes. Yep, because if you don't get rid of them, you're going to be back in them. That's the way it works. You're going to be right back in them. let's see here. How do you store winter coats, boots, and coveralls? Well, I don't really store those. I have a coat closet, and those things stay in the coat closet. My boots, I don't like the idea of something getting in my boots, so I've wrapped them up in a plastic bag or put them back in the box they came from and seal them up and put them in the bottom of my boots stay in the bottom of my closet. The rest of my shoes are on a shelf. And I only have shelf for so many shoes, so I have to get rid of shoes when I get new shoes. What makes you like cast iron so much? Well, a few months ago, my husband got diagnosed with anemia. And it sort of scared us a little bit. So what I started doing was cooking everything in cast iron because that iron gets in the food. My grandmother used cast iron. I have her cast iron griddle. I have a skillet that was my mother's. So having this cast iron and using it really puts iron into our bodies. Being anemic is not a fun thing. It is just not fun. But when you cook with cast iron, you get some iron in your system. And when you go low carb, you quit eating flour. All flour products in the United States have been fortified with iron. And when you quit eating bread, you quit eating flour. So it's you're getting less iron in your daily diet. Now, you might have to take an iron pill, but being anemic is not fun. You have absolutely no energy, and you can't put two thoughts together because you're not getting oxygen to your brain, because it's the it's the red blood cells that take oxygen throughout your body. So getting checked for iron levels is important, and getting your water and not drinking too much water, but drinking what's enough for you. And, start with 60 ounces. That's 6 little cups full. Now, let's see. We're asking for hearts. Cast iron also helps to heat. Yep, I love cast iron. I've watched you almost cry. Let's see what Tony says. I've watched you almost cry a couple of weeks ago about spending time with family. I am in chaos. I brought this beautiful underground house last August, painted and cleaned, and got all my stuff that'd been in storage. I can't read the rest of it. Yes, it's important to spend time with family. I don't know what the rest of it says, Tony. Maybe if you put it in another, it's too long for me to pull up. If we don't spend time with family, we're going to look around one day and they're going to be grown. And you're not going to know where the time went. I'm 62 years old. I have a son who'll be 44 his birthday in September. That is the only thing that makes me feel old, is the fact that I have almost a 44-year-old son. That's it. All the rest of it, I don't feel old. But when I look at the generations, I have a 15-year-old grandson, a 12-year-old granddaughter. They're growing up. If you don't spend time with them now, when they get grown, they're not going to spend time with you. So we have to learn, Friday is our day for date night. We have got to develop our relationships beyond just our children and our children's children. We need to develop our relationships so one day we wake up and we're not alone. A lot of people are having a lot of company this weekend with Memorial Day coming up here. Plan something. If you feed them, they will come. If you do a potluck, they will come. Enjoy the time. We have a holiday weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's a nice 4-day weekend coming up. Enjoy this time. And remember, it doesn't have to be fancy. You just do a potluck. Everybody brings something. You put some hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill. Yum. And you got people. It's just fun. And when your house is already clean, you're not having to get ready for company because your house is ready. What was that? You get iron from cast iron pots and pans. Yes, you do. Do you have any financial advice for my husband and I? We are who live paycheck to paycheck, but he makes enough where we shouldn't, and we have debt. I do have some financial advice. Go to Dave Ramsey's website, daveramsey.com. He can help you. You know, it's that debt that is eating away at your livelihood. You got to start getting rid of those credit card debts and culling them down. Start with the smallest first, so you can feel some sense of accomplishment. But go to his website, daveramsey.com, and he can help you. The Dave Ramsey way is amazing. Yes, if you feed them, they will come. Dave Ramsey rules. You read my mind, Fly Lady. Yep, I love Mr. Ramsey, Dr. Ramsey. He's amazing. He's wonderful. I had a friend who went to work for him. And he went for a job interview. They were from Florida. They got hired for that weekend. They didn't even have time to go to Florida and get their stuff. They started housekeeping with nothing. 2 suitcases. So, you can do this. We don't need all that stuff. Imagine if you need help trying to downsize and to get rid of your stuff. Think about moving into a tiny house. This could be fun. What would you take with you? What would you take with you? Right now, we have a coupon code going on that is for 20% discount. It's only good till Sunday. We have run it as an introductory offer for our calendar. And you can place your order for your calendar. 20% off covers shipping, pretty much. It covers shipping. So let's see. I still hadn't gotten the word from Michael yet. He's picking the kids up at school. 20%. And yeah, the coupon code is CLEAN411. Isn't that a great code? We just want to get some cleaning help. CLEAN411. CLEAN411. And that pretty much pays for shipping. And we ship all over the world. Now, we have a flat rate fee per pound with FedEx going to European Union. I've never seen Dave Ramsey stuff. I may check it out. Yeah, check him out. He is a wonderful Christian man who does this in a great way to help us who are sidetracked get organized. And another way you can save a lot of money, for those of you who don't do this, cook. That's really the only real place that you can save big bucks is to plan your meals and cook what you've planned. I know you don't believe me, but just think about it. If you plan for leftovers, if you use your leftovers into making different things, okay, let's do it this way. Let's say on Sunday, you cook a big beef roast. Big beef roast. You got potatoes and carrots and a beef roast. That's one meal. The next day, you could whip up some mashed potatoes with that. Get some hoagie rolls, slice the beef roast into nice little pieces, pour the gravy over it, have open face sandwiches with mashed potatoes. On Wednesday, you can make a beef stew. Now, this is kind of a wintertime thing, but you could still throw together a beef stew from the rest of it. And then you're getting tired of it, put it all in the freezer in a bag, and then in 3 or 4 months, throw together a beef soup. Throw some mixed vegetables in with it and a can of crushed tomatoes, and you've got soup. That's how simple it is. You plan for leftovers. This week, I cooked a prime rib out of a beef roast. Now, it wasn't the tenderest piece of beef, but when you slice something thin, it gets tender. Now, I took this 5.5 pound roast, and I found a recipe for cooking this roast. Now, this is really weird, y'all. This is really weird. And I tried it because Robert doesn't like meat that's falling all to pieces. I like it that way. But he likes it in where it's like medium rare. It said to cook on 500 degrees. Now get this, 500 degrees times however many pounds it is. It was 5.48 pounds is what my roast was, for 5 minutes per pound. So that worked out to 27 minutes at 500 degrees. I know this sounds really weird, but Leanne does this with a turkey. So that's why I trusted it. 5 minutes per pound, total of 27 minutes for the roast I did the other day. And then leave it for that 27 minutes and then turn the oven off. Don't open the oven door. Leave it in the oven for 2 hours. And you know what? We just had lunch on the leftovers of that roast beef, and it was still good. I made an au jus gravy out of some beef broth, and it was wonderful. And it was just this nice medium rare on the inside, and I'll never cook it another way again because it was so easy. I put it on a roasting rack in the middle of an iron skillet, and there I had it. 5 minutes per pound, 500 degrees for however many it worked out per pound. 5 minutes per pound. And it worked out 27 minutes for medium rare. And it was amazing. And it's still good. Okay, what's this? Mom and Dad lost their house in a fire, and I had to get a new one. I am trying to help them start off without getting cluttered. Do you have any tips for me to help without overstepping them? Well, if they have nothing, you just need to divide everything you got in half and give it to them. That's going to get you decluttered, and that's going to help them set up housekeeping. It's when you've been robbed like that with a fire, it's a violation, and it hurts you. I don't have a copy of the calendar. I can show you the calendar. But let me get back to the ladies whose parents' house burned. I have lived through having nothing, and you keep wanting to get more and more when you've lost everything. We almost had a house fire a few years ago. Our house got hit by lightning, and we had fire. And if Robert had been in the courthouse instead of just retired, we would have lost our house. But we would have survived because you start collecting again. Now, here's what the calendar looks like. This is it starts in August of 2018 and goes through December of 2019. Do you see how big those calendar squares are? That's huge when you think about it. Now, cooking meals. Let's get back to cooking meals. And this is a wonderful way to menu plan. Let me find January here. In fact, here is my January. You got a pot roast. See the pot roast? And then you can make some spaghetti, and you take the Taco Tuesday. You can shred the beef and make tacos or burritos with it. Surprise chicken, that's cleaning out the refrigerator day. Soup and sandwiches, open face. You got to start with enough beef roast to do this. And Saturday's pizza. See how wonderful that looks? And then when you get through, all you got to do is peel it off and move it 3 weeks down the calendar. That's all you got to do. Post-it notes, you just cut off the sticky part of your Post-it notes. That's it. We are having a garage sale today, making extra cash and decluttering. Let me tell you the problem I have with garage sales. Unless kids are involved in it, all you're going to do is feel bad. I don't care how much money you make on the garage sale. When you're having a garage sale, you're nickel and diming everything you've paid huge dollars for, and you feel bad about it. Bless someone else with it, and it keeps its value in your heart. So if you paid $25 for a crock pot and you don't use it, give it to somebody else instead of getting $2 for it at a yard sale. Post-it note menu planning is phenomenal. So sit down with a bunch of Post-it notes, and you could have different colored Post-it notes. So you could have a bunch of blue Post-it notes of things you make with hamburger meat. A bunch of pink Post-it notes, things you make with chicken. A bunch of Post-it notes for things you make with pork. And then you could do pasta and mix it all up. Menu planning is easy if you'll just do it. Wednesday's our day to sort of menu plan. Think about what you're going to be doing next week. We've been talking about getting ready for Memorial Day weekend for a week now. Getting your kitchen clean, purchasing the things you need, like a Boston butt, or if you're going to make barbecue, or chickens if you're going to barbecue chicken, or getting some hamburgers. You can get the hamburger meat, do the patties, and put them in the freezer and be ready to cook some wonderful. I've failed miserably menu plan. No, you haven't failed miserably. It's not a fail if you cook. Anything's better than nothing. And don't try to get the recipe books out and make a new recipe for every day. That's just going to kill yourself. Let go of the stuff. Menu planning can get more money in your house than anything when you plan for leftovers and do use those leftovers. My grandmother she kept a milk carton in her freezer. And the main thing about this milk carton is if she just had a tablespoonful of butter beans left over from dinner, she put them in this milk carton. And she'd seal it back up. Now, I have a Tupperware ice cream container that holds 5 gallons of ice cream. Not 5 gallons, just a gallon of ice cream. And it has a little slide in it so that I could pull it all out if I needed to. And I put leftover beef roast in there. I put leftover vegetables, leftover broccoli, leftover tomatoes. If I open a can of tomato sauce up and I only need like a quarter cup of it, I pour the rest of it in there. I pour it in ice cube trays. My freezer's ready to go. And I can make a pot of soup at any point in time. Planning for leftovers helps you to cook all the time. Always something going. I don't cook every day. My husband says it's good to have a wife that can cook, that doesn't cook every day, than one that can't cook and cooks all the time. But the more you cook, the more you learn. And keeping it simple, keeping it really simple, is going to change everything. Let your kids help you. How else are they going to learn how to cook unless they're in the kitchen with you? And when you have a messy kitchen, you don't want them in the kitchen. But if your kitchen sink is clean, and always start with a sink full of hot soapy water. Do you hear me? Sink full of hot soapy water. Let's see what Laura says here. What do you think about a minimalist living? I am thinking about working towards that so I don't have things to dust. If it works for you, go for it. If that's a thought, I mean, we watch these tiny house shows where people go from, a 2,000 square foot house to 800 square feet or 500 square feet. I can't even imagine that. But here's how it works. Growing up, we have our bedroom. It's 12 by 12. That's 144 square feet. It could be 10 by 8. It's 80 square feet. And then we go off to college. We're still in a small room. Everything we own is in that small room, and then we have a room full at home. Now, the minute you leave home, your mother packs the room up into boxes and turns it into her she shed. Because she's always wanted a place of her own. You don't really have a place to stay anymore once you graduate from college. Your mother's turned it into her sewing room, the extra bedroom, you name it. Then you get your own place and you start with an apartment, maybe 500 to 800 square feet. Small apartment. But you fill it up to the rafters. And then you get a house. You finally get a house. And it's 1,200 square feet. And you fill it up again. And then it's time for the kids to start coming. And you filled up every crevice of your house with stuff. And then the kids start, and all this baby paraphernalia, everything is everywhere. And you need more storage. Really, you don't need more storage. You need to get rid of some of the stuff you have. And then the kids grow up and they get out on their own, and you're left with all this stuff that you've never gotten rid of. You still have toys from when they were babies in your attic. And your house is just crazy. If you'll get rid of things all along every step of the way, pretend you're moving every year and you wouldn't take this stuff with you if you moved. Don't take junk with you. Pretend you're downsizing to a 500 square foot tiny house. It's fun to watch those shows to see how they do things. What would you get rid of? I look in my bathroom sometime and I think, well, what would I take with me out of this bathroom? I like the way my bathroom's arranged. I would probably utilize the basket method I have for my clothes because it's efficient. We eat out a lot. We do too. I used to cook, but I do agree, start with a sink full of hot soapy water. Yep. Here I've gone an hour and 20 minutes waiting on Michael to send me a text, and he hadn't sent me a text yet. Well, everybody just hold your horses. And in about an hour, he's got to get home from getting the kids at school. we're going to have a special deal for you. You use the 20% discount code CLEAN411. What is the basket method for clothes? Well, it's not a linen closet. It's glass shelves in my bathroom. And if you look on a video from late June or July of last year, I did a video where I showed you what I did. It was my project for the summer. And it was the big reveal, and you can find it on YouTube. But I have 3 baskets. Well, I have a thin basket. It's about like this. It's a wicker basket. And then I have 1, 2, 3 more baskets that have clothes. And Robert put me dividers in these tubs. They have lids on them, but I don't use the lids. But he put me a divider, so I keep my pants on one side and my tanks on the other. And then the next one down, I have jeans, and I have long 3/4 sleeve shirts. And then the bottom one, I keep my toiletry bag that I use for traveling. It's always there. And some other things that I don't use often are in the bottom one. And that's my baskets. That's how I get dressed in the morning. I get dressed in the bathroom. I keep my clothes in the bathroom. And it works pretty well. I file them not stacked like this. I file them like they're files. Like this. So when I fold them up, they're in a nice little, and I just stick them down in this divider that's done. That's a good idea. Well, folks, I've run my mouth enough. It's going to take forever to download this video. But check back on the website in just a few minutes, and when it gets live, Flale, do you and Robert have any tips on keeping mountain critters from eating your landscape flower beds? No, I have no tips for that, because one year I bought about 300 different varieties of daylilies, and they were beautiful coming up. We planted them. They were all on this little bank going down our driveway. And then one morning I walked down the driveway and came back, and they were all gone. All my daylilies were eaten. It's like they'd just been cut. Daylilies and hostas are deer food, and we have deer. I have a deer bone in my living room right now that the dog chews on. The deer was killed, and the bone was left, and she found it. I don't know how to keep animals from eating my flowers, but we're an equal opportunity feeder around here. We feed squirrels, we feed birds, we feed woodpeckers, we feed chipmunks, everywhere. I don't like marigolds because they stink. But I do have I got some geraniums this year that I have to plant when a good planting day comes up. As Robert says, any day's a good planting day. Well, I don't believe that, but because my grandmother didn't plant things like that. Y'all, I've been talking for an hour and a half almost. Well, I'm reading some of your comments. Well, everybody, I've been on this Facebook Live a long time today. I did 25 minutes this morning, another hour and a half this afternoon. I've been mouthy. So, y'all have a good weekend. I'm still going to be doing our 31 baby steps through the weekend, through next week. We got 7 more days, another week to go. I love you all. Next week we're in Zone 5, our living room. I've been getting a head start on Zone 5. So I've gathered up DVDs and CDs and stuff that we don't watch very often, and I put them where they belong. They're not piled up. I said, can you see what I've done? I asked Robert. See, that's perfectionism too, but he couldn't tell what I'd done. And I said, I cleared out all the CDs and DVDs. And he went, it's so funny. Y'all have a good weekend. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. I love you tomorrow. It's only a day away. See you.